Spiritus Sancti operante virtute, vivificas et sanctificas universa, et populum tibi congregare non desinis, ut a solis ortu usque ad occasum oblatio munda offeratur nomine tuo. Supplices ergo te, Domine, deprecamur, ut ec munera qui tibi sacranda de tulimus, eodem Spiritus sanctificare dinieris, ut corpus et sanguis fiant Filii Tui Domini nostri Iesu Christi, cuius mandato ec mysteria celebramus. Ipse enim in qua nocte tradebatur, accepit panem, et tibi gratias agens benedixit, fregit, deditque discipulis suis dicens, accipite et manducate ex hoc omnes, hoc est enim corpus meum, quo pro vobis tradetur. Simili modo, postquam cenatum est, accipiens calicem, et tibi gratias agens benedixit, deditque discipulis suis dicens, accipite et bibite ex eo omnes, hic est enim cali sanguinis mei, novi et eterni testamenti, quo pro vobis et pro multis effundetur in remissionem peccatorum. Hoc facite in meam commemorationem. Mysterium Fidei. Memores igitur Domine, eiusdem Filii Tui salutiferae passionis, nec non mirabilis resurrectionis et ascensionis in celum, sed et postulantes alterum eius adventum offerimus tibi gratias referentes hoc sacrificium vivum et sanctum. Respice quesumus in oblationem ecclesiae Tue et hoc noscens ostiam, cuius voluisti immolatione placari, concede, ut qui corpore et sanguine Filii Tui reficimur, Spiritu eius sancto repleti, unum corpus et unus Spiritus inveniamur in Christo.
Ipse enim tibi proficiat munus aeternum, o cum electis Tuis hereditatem consequi valeamus, in primis cum Beatissima Virgine, Dei Genitrice Maria, cum Beato Iosef eio sponso, cum Beatis Apostolis Tuis et gloriosis martiribus, et omnibus sanctis, quorum intercessione perpetua pot Te confidimus adiuvari.
Ec ostia nostra reconciliationis proficiat, quesumus Domine, ad totius mundi pacem atque salutem, ecclesiam Tuam, peregrinantem in terra, in fide et caritate firmare dignieris, cum famulo Tuo Papa nostro Leone, cum episcopali ordine et universo clero, et omni populo acquisitionis Tue. Voti suius familie, quam tibia stare voluisti ad esto propitius, omnes filios Tuos ubique dispersos, tibi clemens pater miseratus coniunge, fratres nostros defunctos, et omnes qui tibi placentes ex hoc seculo transierunt, in regnum tuum benignus admite, ubi fore speramus, ut simul gloria tua peremniter satiemur. Per Christum Dominum nostrum, per quem mundo bona cuntis largiris.
Per ipsum et cum ipso et in ipso, est tibi Deo Patre omnipotente, in unitate Spiritus Sancti, omnis honor et gloria, per omnia saecula saeculorum. Preceptis salutaribus moniti, et divina institutione formati, audiemus dicere. Libera nos, que sumus.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host, is on the phone. She'll be coming in later. We're hoping to have Gary Belanger at 7 o'clock. So the weather outside is looks like it's threatening. I brought my raincoat, but I didn't put it on. It seemed okay to me. Looking back in history, in 1386, before even John was born, England and Portugal formally ratified an alliance with the signing of the Treaty of Windsor, making it the oldest diplomatic alliance in the world, which is still in force. Jumping up to 1926, Admiral Richard E. Byrd and Floyd Bennett, not an admiral, claimed to have flown over the North Pole, although historians went back into Admiral Byrd's diary, which cast some doubt on the fact that they actually made it over the North Pole. The fact they just made it up there and back was impressive to me. In 1955, West Germany became part of NATO. And in 1974, the United States House Committee on the Judiciary opened formal public impeachment hearings against President Richard Nixon. Now, that was a problem. In 2020, the COVID-19 recession causes the U.S. unemployment rate to hit 14.9%, its worst rate since the Great Depression. Not good. 2022, the Russia-Ukraine war U.S. President Joe Biden signs the 2022 Lend-Lease Act into law, a rebooted World War II era policy which expedited American equipment to Ukraine and other European nations. In 1800 on this day, John Brown was born. John Brown, famous for the song John Brown's Body. He died in 1859, executed for leading a rebellion that seized an arsenal out in what would later be West Virginia. In 1921, Daniel Berrigan, American priest, poet, and activist, was born. He passed away in 2016. In 1921, also, Sophie Scholl was born, German activist executed with a wire in 1943. She was convicted of distributing leaflets at her college. Not good. She was part of the White Rose group opposing Hitler and the Nazis. And in 1986, Tenzing Norgay passed away, a Nepalese mountaineer. He was born in 1914 with Edmund Hillary, was one of the first two people to make it to the top of Mount Everest. So, and today's commemorates the end of German occupation of the Channel Islands, and also German occupation of, the German war with Russia and the Soviet Union. Because the treaty was signed at 1101, or went into effect at 1101, it was active on 8 May in Western Europe, but 9 May in Eastern Europe. So that's it. So what's the Latin? Are you good with your Latin, John? Habemus Papam?
That goes very too.
Ah,
I'm not good with Latin.
all right.
Agricola or Agricolora.
So we got whites.
You know what Agricola is?
No, what's a bricolora?
No, Agricola.
No, tell me.
Farmer.
Farmer? All right. So we got white smoke on the fourth vote. Cardinal Robert F. Prevost of Peru was elected. He's born in 1955, makes him 69 years old, pretty young Pope-wise.
We're watching his mass for the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
That's the Pope's first mass. Out of YouTube.
So he was born and grew up in Chicago, although I think he has taken Peruvian citizenship since he's the cardinal in Peru. But while he was in the United States, he was a registered Republican. He went to Villanova University and got a Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. And then he went to the Catholic Theological Union to get a master's degree, and finally went to Rome to the Pontifical University of St. Thomas Aquinas to get a doctorate. So, and he picked the name Leo the 14th, which I take as a nod to Pope Leo the 13th, author of the encyclical about 135 years ago, Rerum Novarum, which is about...
Cliff, how do they come up with, like, he's going to be Pope Leo? How does that work?
He picked the name himself.
Half the popes pick their new name, half the popes don't.
So I took it as a nod to Leo XIII, whose encyclical Rights and Duties of Citizens and of Capital and Labor that addressed the condition of the working class.
And I think he took it for the kindergartners to make it easier to spell his name.
Okay.
6:13, honey. You're solo today.
All right. So the encyclical that I referenced introduced to me the term of subsidiarity, which is the idea that no higher level should be doing something a lower level can do for itself, or the idea of power down, power to the people. So I thought it'll be interesting to see how the papacy evolves under Leo XIV. Do you have any additional thoughts on the new Pope, John?
Live long and prosper.
All right. Eileen? So, Eileen, did you...
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Did you see where President Trump stripped Fox News of one more active member?
Oh, did he take a correspondent from Fox News?
He took Judge Janine Pirro, who's on their 5 o'clock program, The Five. So it's now The Four.
He kicked her off.
So what is she going to be doing for Trump?
She's going to be the district attorney for Washington, D.C. His initial nominee, Ed Martin, apparently couldn't make it through the Senate. One of the senators objected to the fact that he had defended January 6th defendants as a lawyer.
Oh.
So,
Well, I didn't like her coverage of the Karen Reed case. That's all I know about Judge Janine.
you didn't like it?
No, I don't think she had all the information she needed.
Ah,
But then again, it's not healthy to relate everything to the Karen Reed case, and I fully recognize this.
we'll do that after we see if John has a thought on Judge Janine.
I have no opinion on Judge Janine.
Ah. My wife was excited. She thinks that Judge Janine is pretty sharp. So, you brought up the Karen Reed show. How's the
It's not
trial
a show,
going?
Cliff.
What?
It's not a show. The girl's fighting for her life against this corrupt Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Well, you know our motto, if you don't like it, move.
I don't think she can move.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
That's Judge Jean.
Especially work.
That's Judge
I-
Janine that Cliff was referring to.
Do we have an age on Judge Janine?
7-3.
Oh, she looks great for 73, though.
Yeah.
I'll give her that.
Well, she's got a lot of powder puff there.
Yeah. I mean, I think she was always beautiful, but if you look at older footage of her compared to now, it's substantial.
Okay. So, has the defense arrested, the prosecution arrested? Or
Nope, they keep going and digging themselves. Yesterday was interesting.
How's that?
They called Trooper Buchanan, and he had a ton of. He said that was done. I'm sorry, I'm trying to multitask, and I obviously can. He said that the investigation was done with honor and integrity by now disgraced and dishonorably discharged Michael Proctor.
Did the little rubber duckies come up yesterday?
Only from you in a text message. But he didn't write a report for John O'Keefe's murder, but he wrote a 35-page affidavit report for the rubber duckies.
Yeah. Yeah. So the little rubber duckies have FKR written on the bottom for free
Yeah.
Karen Reed.
And they tried to put the FKR, they tried to prosecute that, saying it's witness intimidation.
But, yeah, they're trying to make themselves look stupid and unresponsive to the people. So, anything new from Turtle Boy, Aiden Kearney?
Yes, his bail revocation got denied by the judge because it's completely ridiculous. So he's good. They tried to revoke his bail, was it last week?
Yeah.
A few weeks ago. And they want him in jail because of the attention that he's bringing to this case. And that they went in front of a judge and he said, give me time to think about it. And then this week, I think 2 days ago, he came out with his decision that he would not revoke his bail, the judge.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, the city and county and state just don't look good in the way this is going.
Yeah. No, I mean, but they've doubled down too. It's not like they're trying to even hide anything. They're just doubling back down on all of it. Which I find to be so crazy. Like they're saying, no, we did it right. There's something wrong with everybody else.
Yep. So, our supposed New England serial killer here in Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. John, do you have that map?
A map of the new Gulf of America, or what map would you like to see, Cliff?
A map of Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island with 11 specks on it that I may have texted to you yesterday late afternoon.
Oh, now you throw, I was going to go on the internet and find a map of New England. Now I'll go into our text.
All right.
Sorry, I'm
So
confused.
there are apparently now up to 11 potential deaths, and many of the victims are females, and several of the discoveries were clustered close to the borders between the three states, some just minutes apart. And so we have speculation and rumors being spread online with thousands of searches. Here we go. These are the places where people have been found that something might be a serial killer.
So, all women?
Not all women, but majority women.
How were they killed? Gunshot, strangled?
I don't know.
Understood.
So
There's only 3 in Massachusetts, and I don't think the state police would connect the dots. Is there any state police that's connecting the dots? Because it looks like Connecticut has the bounty of them all.
no, I don't think so. And so a Dr. Catherine Ramstan, who's a professor
Sounds like Flintstone days.
yeah, of forensic psychology at DeSales University.
Where is DeSales University?
I have no idea, but I assume it's in the Midwest.
So what police agency is connecting the dots to this? Is there any that you know of?
That's what I'm talking about.
She might be in Illinois.
Anyway, she studied the BTK killer, serial killer Dennis Rader, and co-wrote a book on him. She believes that fears have taken hold because the public doesn't trust law enforcement to be telling the truth.
Well, the government's not here to help you. The government's here for self-preservation. And it seems most of America has forgotten that.
Well, but the government does help out, right? For instance, when you have a funeral, the police are felicitous of your need to take that long caravan through stoplights and on the journey to the final resting place, right?
The police are always helpful when you call them.
Okay.
And some people love the police. I love the police. Some people are afraid of the police. So some people fear when the police are around. And looking at the bus yesterday in Worcester of illegal citizens being arrested, or alleged illegal citizens being arrested, it's a scary time. What would you do if they grabbed Martha? What could you do? If they grabbed Martha and said, you know what, you're not a citizen. But she is. They take her away and they send her to Louisiana. What would you do?
Call a lawyer.
And what do you think the lawyer could do against the federal government?
Based on what I'm observing, clog the operation. There's that judge in Washington, D.C., federal judge who keeps issuing orders against the Trump administration and its deportation of people.
This gal that got picked up from Tufts, I think the federal government's on very thin ice with that particular case.
Is this a Turkish woman?
There's only one person from Harvard that got a. But was she working for Harvard? I don't know what
No,
country
I think
she's from.
Tufts is right.
Okay, so we're talking about the same person. There is only one woman. It's been all over TV. I forget what her name is. That's not the important part. But it's a flimsy case that the federal government just took this woman away from everybody who loves her and shoved her down in Louisiana just because they could. The government's being mean, very mean about this. And
Is it just
no
because
one has the guts to say, knock it off. It's like Nazi days. When they come for you, they need to go, hey, they did this in World War II. This is completely wrong. What's the harm in leaving that lady alone and say, look, show up in court or we will put you in jail? What's the harm in doing that?
you don't think that she's supporting terrorism?
I don't think I don't know the girl. I don't know if you support terrorism. I have no idea. But if they arrested somebody in my family, there's not a doggone thing you can do about it. They're down in Louisiana. And you know what? The federal government, it's Friday. They're looking at their clock. We're going home at noontime today, kid. Don't bother us until Monday after 10. Would you disagree with that?
Oh,
Okay, call
Generally-
the FBI tomorrow morning. See how it goes.
generally yes, but there are some exceptions. Eileen, are you familiar with this case?
We'll have to wait till Eileen gets here.
Yeah.
But do you think that they're on rock solid foundational law to put that lady down in Louisiana?
Actually, I do, because I think she is a supporter of terrorism.
And she's accused.
Yes.
So if you're accused of something in Massachusetts, we put you in Louisiana. That's okay in your book.
I don't know why the federal government put her in
No,
Louisiana.
no, but they did. Is it okay with you?
And I don't understand why the lawsuit is asking that she be sent to Vermont. Why would they send her to Vermont?
The television station doesn't take questions. I don't know.
Yeah.
But is it okay she's in Louisiana? I think she should be in Fort Devens. That's the closest federal place that there is. And they tell me that that's only for men. But there's a federal prison, I believe, in Gardner. But there is one in Massachusetts. Why they can't put her there, especially in Massachusetts, we're a agendaless state. Why the heck is even Vermont?
I don't know.
She should be bailed out. This is wrong. She's accused.
Yes. Is she a flight risk?
Passport won't let you go anywhere. Bail her out and she has to wear one of those leg bands. Or whatever you call it there, one of those trackers.
Ankle bracelet.
Okay, ankle bracelet. But I don't think that's the real name either.
Oh, okay. So, it's a good question. We need to explore that on Monday.
Are we done with these,
We're done with,
with these poor dead folk that, what police agency is connecting the dots here?
none of them.
Okay, never gonna get solved. They're going home today at noontime. Sadly,
Yeah, but they had to stay late on Tuesday.
because they go home at noontime.
Yeah.
Do you ever pay your taxes on Tuesday night? Get down and get a death certificate on Tuesday night? Get down and pay your water bill Tuesday night?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So,
Never gonna happen, but City Hall should be open Saturday mornings.
I like the idea.
Never gonna happen. The government is here for self-preservation. They're not here to help you. You don't pay your taxes? We don't care. We're taking your house. Get out.
Well, the good news for you is apparently someone stepped up to run in District 4.
Have they announced yet?
I don't know. Bob Hoey told me that he had a name.
Well, I've been trying to meet with the person. Hasn't happened yet, so.
No.
June's coming.
Well, I have now reached out to all 4 people that I know of running in the Belvedere, Ward 3.
Corey's coming this morning.
Corey's coming this morning. We're hoping to have Belinda Monday. I left my card with Matt Gendron to give to...
Is that her name?
No.
Matt Gendron?
No, that's just someone that I know.
Oh, okay.
And he said that he would get it to the candidate. And I had a email or a text exchange with Dan Lynn. So,
Dan Finn?
Hmm?
Finn?
Finn.
Yeah, nice guy. I sat with him at the St. Patty's Day party.
Okay. So
I think it's between Dan Finn and Corey Belanger. I think those are the 2 front runners.
okay.
Signs don't vote. So we'll see. I sat down with Belinda for coffee. Nice gal, very intelligent woman.
Yes.
And we had a nice little chit chat. And have never met, I've seen Erin Gender, but I've never met her.
Okie doke. So, I see where President Trump got his first trade war victory. And
What's he doing with it? Did the Brits drop their tariffs?
we have mutually dropped tariffs, yeah.
So no more tariffs on anything we ship to England?
No. For instance, on automobiles, I think the tariff went to 10% for the first 100,000 vehicles.
And what did we do for the first 100,000 vehicles of British cars?
That's what we did. We dropped it, I think, to 10%.
But if I ship 100 Chevys over there, what's the tariff?
10%.
Okay, so
unless you're slow.
Matching tariffs.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it should be.
The stock market liked it.
What do you do about chicken? The British are really afraid of American chicken.
I'm afraid of American chicken. Cancer.
They're afraid of American chicken prices. They're so low.
Oh,
And chicken's chicken. And that's what when I listen to LBC, that's a radio station over in merry old England, they're red hot and bad about American beef and American chicken because it's so cheap and it's so good. So you don't know what they did about food?
no.
Okay.
I just like the fact that Trump got an agreement. And maybe it's the first of many.
Well, China's the big deal. Right now, President Xi is over in Moscow today, enjoying the big military parade they have now and then over in Russia. I'll get that on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fascinating parade they have. And the camera action they use on this parade is like none other I've seen. These people are way ahead of any American television station. I thought the Vatican had good camera coverage. Not compared to the Russians. The Russians know how to do cameras, man. Good stuff. I'll go find their feed.
I saw a half of a 15-minute video of some young lady walking around Moscow before the parade. And the weather looked nice, and the area looked spruced up like they were heading for a celebration. And 80 years it's been. Russia lost 20 million people in that war. It's a lot of people.
Well, at the very beginning of the parade this morning, they had a memorial for the Russians, the dead Russians, tolling a bell. This is live of what's going on in Moscow right now of the military parade. And the cameras that they use, all of a sudden they'll show you, they'll be in the cab of one of these trucks. Fantastic footage, fantastic coverage of this event. And when they go to a different camera, there's no problem whatsoever. Very good coverage. Too bad these tanks that they're bragging about, losing wars. They brought them down to Ukraine, and the Bradleys took them out. Tanks we're getting rid of. I know they're not tanks, but the military might we have called the Bradley that was discontinued, and when the United States isn't going to use them anymore, can take out these brand new tanks. They usually have a better sight of all the crowd on the street. Let me go back one. See if I can get a better one. Oh, this is, see, there's Xi with Putin. Where's the popcorn? No food for these guys. Look like they're having a pretty good time. Nice weather day. Yeah, when I went to Russia, I got one of those hats. The Russian military have nifty uniforms. If you want to go to YouTube, this is all over YouTube. See the cameras, how many cameras they have? Bam, bam, they're all over the place, these cameras. And then they'll have something come down the street, and they go, look at this is fantastic. The footage they got, and this is live. And it ain't CNBC doing this. This is a feed from CNBC. But this is all Russian cameras. Beautiful car. Beautiful day in Moscow today. I don't know if there's any audio. Let me see if there's sound with this. Is there any talking or what? No, there's no audio with this, no sound. But that's the Russian parade going on now. Fantastic video. Back to Cliff.
There we go. So, did you saw where Donald Trump pulled the tax-free status for Harvard University?
Yeah, rightfully so. I think that they should pull a lot of these tax-free things away from a lot of people. Like Ralph Hogan sends me a video of the Pope's brother. They interviewed the Pope's brother yesterday. I don't know if I can pull this up or not. We'll see. Push a bunch of buttons. Yeah, I can't get it up, but we'll see. I'll get it on screen.
Okay.
But there's a video of the, oh boy, it's getting now the computer's getting mad at me because I got too much stuff going on. There's the Pope's brother, lower left-hand corner. They interviewed him yesterday outside his house, John Provost, and quite the guy. And when he calls his brother, they start off, he reminded me of you, Cliff. They start off by playing a word game. And it was an interesting thing. So if you're watching on Facebook later on, you'll see this. This is a YouTube thing.
Who is this? Who starts off playing a word game?
This is the Pope's brother, the new Pope's brother, John, John Provost in Chicago. He's still in Chicago. So I'll see if I can find this. Brother of new Pope. Thanks, Ralph, for reminding me. Appreciate it. Let's go back one. Come on, baby. Go backwards. There we go. We're back two. Too many. YouTube. There we go.
All right. So while John's doing that, is that it, John? You ready?
No, I gotta find it first. I put
Yeah.
John Provost interview, but John Provost after Lassie. Come on, now give me a break. This is a different John Provost. Back over to you, Cliff. I don't know what's happening. I'll find it.
So apparently, the Congress is upset with the FBI on the congressional baseball shooting investigation. Back in 2017, when it happened, the FBI said it was suicide by cop, which didn't make any sense why he would drive all the way from Illinois to Washington, D.C. for suicide by
Oh,
cop.
there is audio.
Tell me about childhood.
This is the Pope's brother being interviewed yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
John Provost.
Life
in
we
the
all
real
grew up
world.
in Dalton.
And then we talk about what's going on, and I said, well, do you have your
I
red
think it was
socks?
just a normal childhood. There's not a whole lot I could
It's
tell you
totally
about him because
unreal,
he
totally
left
surreal.
to the
And
arts
it's a
and
tremendous,
scenery right out of
tremendous
eighth grade.
thing to
Went
take
right
in,
from
but it's
high
something
high
to be
school
very proud
seminary.
of.
And you said you spoke to him right before conclave? Tell me what that
And
conversation
then
was like.
the year of theology.
Really?
So he wasn't home a lot.
First we do
except for that
Wordle,
summer vacation.
because this is a regular
So
thing.
during the
okay?
year,
then
there
we
really wasn't a whole
we
lot. His
do
high school
Words
years,
with Friends.
Don't know anything.
It's something to keep his mind off
How often would you get to
life
see him?
in the
Christmas
real world.
vacation,
And then
Easter
we talk about
vacation,
what's
and
going on,
summers.
and I said, well, do you have your red
Sometimes
socks?
no.
That doesn't
You
go
know,
over
our
well
poor
all the
parents,
time.
3 boys.
And then just that kind of stuff, and I said, well, are you
So
ready
it's,
for
it's
this?
you, you're the
I said,
you're in
did
the
you
middle,
watch the movie
and then
Conclave
the
so you know
youngest?
how to
Oldest is
behave?
the oldest, and the Pope is
And
the youngest.
he had just finished watching the
So
movie
any
Conclave.
older brotherly advice?
So he knew how to behave. For
might
him,
impart
but it's totally unreal,
Not that you've
totally
been a pope
surreal.
before.
It's usually
Okey-doke. So then after about 4 years, the FBI decided that he really was a domestic terrorist, but they were withholding documentation. So they finally got the document. Go ahead, Eileen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just coughing and driving through the cobblestones of downtown, so it might have sounded like, I don't know, they're not even cobblestones, they're potholes of downtown.
So
It's that time of year.
So sorry to interrupt.
so they had apparently 3,000 documents on this case that were turned over last month. I mean,
What case is this?
this is the gunman that shot up the Republican congressional baseball team. He wounded people, including the House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, and it led to the death of the gunman James T. Hodgkinson, who was a building inspector out in Bellevue, Illinois. So I found out, I got a call from someone in the Marshal Service to be heads up because I was in Belleville, Illinois, just in case it was a conspiracy.
How close is Eileen? Because I want to ask her, what would she do if the FBI grabbed her sister?
What would the FBI, what would I do
Well,
if the
if-
FBI, what?
If
Grabbed your
ICE,
sister.
if ICE grabbed your sister and sent her down to Kentucky, what would you do?
Well,
Look, when you get here-
I
when you
want to
get-
make sure. I have no words. I don't know, because how do you fight against law enforcement when those things happen? I would obviously try to figure out every legal thing possible to make sure that what they're doing is on the up and up, or why are they doing it? And, you know, I don't know. I got nothing. But did you say ICE or the FBI?
ICE. I said FBI in the beginning, but I meant ICE. And I'm yelling because your phone's across the room, so we'll talk about this when you get here.
Okay. And I should be there in about 4 minutes. 3 to 4 minutes, John.
All righty. You're still on, Cliff.
Okay. So, did you see where the Antarctic ice shelf has been gaining ice?
No, I
Speaking of
haven't
ice,
been down there, but I believe you.
I found it interesting in this period of global warming that it gained mass between 2021 and 2023, a dramatic reversal after decades of loss. 4 key glacier basins in East Antarctica showed significant growth.
And do they
Due to
define
increase-
significant?
What? No.
Understood.
So it contributed to a decrease in global sea level rise. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, did you see that UFO down in South America? A sphere that someone found? they x-rayed it. Can't find any welds to hold it together?
No, I missed that one. South America?
Yeah,
We'll see if I get a picture of that.
it's a round sphere.
I saw a
About
video from an airliner from the cockpit chasing a UFO chasing the plane.
Ah,
And it was a traditional round thing with looks like a pancake that has bubbled up in the middle. Pretty unique look. I'm gonna go let Eileen in, and then I'll go looking for that
all right. Sounds good.
video.
Perfect time.
So, probably lost in all the other activities going on. In England, they had some local elections, and the party headed by Michael Farage dominated the two legacy parties. So it was mostly local elections. There was one parliamentary election that Nigel Farage's party won, and 1,600 elections, local elections, and the Reform one actually won 10 local authorities, 2 mayor's races, and 677 council seats. If it had been a national election, Labor and the Conservatives would have been wiped out. But it's interesting that someone called this a reform quake. I don't know how they're going to sort this out. It could be the end of the Conservative Party. I don't know if anybody out there has an opinion. You could always text into us and tell us what you think, and we can play around with it. The other thing that I keep meaning to talk about, and I don't think we ever get to it, was when Jeff Bezos sent 6 females into space. Blue Origin NS-31, 11-minute flight, but it flew up to 60 miles above the surface of the Earth, which means it passed the Kármán line, which at 62 miles above sea level is the boundary between Earth and the Earth atmosphere and outer space. On the flight were Lauren Sanchez, the fiancée of Jeff Bezos, journalist Gayle King, singer Katy Perry, and 3 others. But someone during a TV show, Olivia Munn. Hi, Eileen. How are you?
Hi, Cliff. Good.
Hey,
How
Cliff,
are you?
before I can go too far, you sent me this a while back. I'm gonna let this go now?
Yes.
Did you see the messenger thing that I sent you earlier this week? I sent you something on Messenger when you guys were talking about.
I'll go back and look.
If Trump was Pope, what would happen in the Vatican? Did any of you guys see that?
Yeah. So, there you go. And the ride-in was bumpy?
Bumpy. Yeah.
All I got's the orange smoke.
Yeah, that's what it was. The orange smoke with Trump was president. I couldn't find the other one. I need to figure out it's been confirmed that President Trump will also be known as Pope Trump. There was orange smoke seen at the Vatican. I found it on Twitter, and then and then there was a picture of him like dressed as the Pope, kind of like Barack, but
They had one of Joe Biden, too.
Artificial intelligence.
So Eileen,
Yes, John.
they abduct your sister, it's Friday. ICE just took your sister away. Or they took your brother away. What do? You're an elected official. You have pull. What do you do?
What do I do? All right.
Not that it's happened, but hypothetically, I think what the government's doing, I'm not going to lead you. Please tell me what you do.
I contact, I don't know, can the city council do anything? If I go to, like, I contact my representative for the city council, but do they have any pull? Or do I go to the police station? Or do I ask for the court documentation? Do I go to the courthouse? Where does ICE bring people? I don't think I know enough about this.
These are all politically connected people. So here's what you do.
Okay.
You call Lori Trahan.
Lori.
This is all political. I remember years ago, a kiddo had passed away, and the medical examiner would not release the body. So they said, can you do something? I said, yeah, I'll just call Marty Mann. He was the congressman at the time. And we'll get things rolling. And this was a holiday weekend. And on a Saturday morning, I called his cell phone. Of course, it went to voicemail. But I got a phone call from the medical examiner's office 10 minutes later. The body's released. These are all political junkies. They're all political people. So if your sister gets arrested, your brother gets arrested by ICE, call Lori Trahan immediately.
Okay.
They're federal people, because, okay, I'll call city council. Well, you know what? I can't, not like the chief of police can do anything about it.
Right. Because I was kind of thinking to answer that, like, would I go to Lowell police, or what rank? I feel like I would have to go directly to a courthouse.
Oh, it's all politics.
Because
If you know Elizabeth Warren, call Elizabeth Warren. If you know Ed Markey, call him. If you know Donald Trump, call him. But those are the only people who can push a button in instant. Like the medical examiner incident is a classic.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to call John McDonough and say, who do I call? Because you know all of these things.
Well, no, I mean, it's federal money. And when you hit a federal agency in the pocketbook, you respond, or I will make a motion in Congress on Monday to defund your agency. Now, they know that's probably not going to happen, but they don't want to deal with that. Cliff, thoughts?
I think that is an approach. Not actually knowing any of these people, I'd call a lawyer.
Like Morgan
What's
and
a lawyer
Morgan.
going to do? Write me a check? I mean, not picking on my lawyer friends. What are they going to do for you? It's Friday. Remember, I called Marty Mann on a Saturday morning, and the medical examiner's office called me 10 minutes later on a Saturday morning. The chief medical examiner herself called me.
That's quite
Mr. McDonough, I'm sorry for all the red tape. His remains are released. And I couldn't do it as a funeral director.
So when you go through the proper channels, you're blocked.
It's
But
Friday. We're closed. We'll see you Monday. I'm just saying what worked for me and what I would do.
Yeah, but I don't know Lori Trahan, and Lori Trahan stiffs me.
She's still a congresswoman.
there's
If you
a picture.
call her with okay, I want to get you on the show, she's going to stiff you. But every time I've called Lori Trahan with any kind of problem, and it's always an immigration problem that I'm calling her for, she immediately responds. Not her, but one of her aides immediately responds and says, what can we do to help? She's very good at that.
Constituent services.
Okay, well, if that's what you want to call it. That's what it is. And but she does.
That's
Cliff has his own constituent servant at Lori Trahan.
But if you
They're
call,
like, just keep replying. No, no, no.
if you call Lori Trahan about something that she could help you with as a constituent, I'm sure she'd be glad to cooperate. I'm sure she would cooperate. I would like to believe that she would help anybody, because I have this big fat microphone over here, it might help. But it is not that fat of a microphone.
No, it is. I believe it is. I believe you don't think people watch this show, but people watch it.
But anyway, that's what it is. Call Lori Trahan. That's what you do. If you get abducted by ICE, don't waste your time calling a lawyer. Call Lori Trahan. Take direction from her.
There you
Turning the
go.
page back to Cliff.
Okay. So,
Hey, for the break, you want me to show the South Comedy? You want me to show the Russians or the Pope's first Mass?
The Pope's first Mass.
Okay.
Pope Leo. Is he already in Italy? Was he a cardinal
He's
before?
doing his first
Yes.
Mass this morning.
so, and there we are. We're down to a minute to go. And the issue with regard to the Tufts PhD student is her advocacy for globalizing the Intifada, which I don't think is a good thing.
I don't understand anything you just said. Intifada?
Intifada. That's the Palestinian war to retake the land of Israel.
And we'll be back. Thanks.
Come successore di Pietro, mentre inizio questa mia missione di vescovo della Chiesa che è in Roma, chiamata a presiedere nella carità la Chiesa universale, secondo la celebre espressione di Sant'Ignazio di Antiochia. Egli, condotto in catene verso questa città, luogo del suo imminente sacrificio, scriveva ai cristiani che vi si trovavano: allora sarò veramente discepolo di Gesù Cristo quando il mondo non vedrà il mio corpo. Si riferiva all'essere divorato dalle belve nel circo, e così avvenne, ma le sue parole richiamano in senso più generale un impegno irrinunciabile per chiunque nella Chiesa eserciti un ministero di autorità. Sparire perché rimanga Cristo, farsi piccolo perché Lui sia conosciuto e glorificato, spendersi fino in fondo perché a nessuno manchi l'opportunità di conoscerlo e amarlo. Dio mi dia questa grazia oggi e sempre, con l'aiuto della tenerissima intercessione di Maria, Madre della Chiesa.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host.
Good morning.
From the Lowell School Committee and from
The Lowell City Council.
the Lowell City Council. I was going for the dramatic there.
Oh, what a taking it.
Corey
He's
Belanger.
Good morning. Great to be here, Cliff.
And you're from
Eileen.
Ward 3, right?
District 3, Cliff, yep, right
Yeah.
where you reside, my friend.
Belvedere. You have a lot of competition.
Yes, I do, Eileen. I'm well aware of that. Thank you.
So,
Got no competition yet. There's no official candidates.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I always
Gotta get
think about that.
signatures. All talk and no action thus far. Corey's the only one working.
It's going great. Let me tell you, it's going great out there.
yes. And Corey, I have contacted for constituent services. For instance, for months, the handles in the elevator in City Hall were loose. I don't think it was a major danger, but it's just a bad look for the city. I called Corey, and I don't know if Corey did something or if it just magically happened, but a week later, it was fixed.
Oh, no, Corey did something.
What did Corey do?
Corey called the City Hall in the manager's office with pictures and a scathing email.
No.
But they got on it right away.
And I,
Because those are things that, like, people don't really see. Like, to even know there was an elevator there, you'd have to be a specific class of people like Cliff.
Right, talking about a very small population, right.
Hey, it works.
Nonetheless, right.
No, yeah,
It's a great way to get into City Hall, and nobody knows you're there.
that's true, because you come in through the
You walk in the
basement.
police side door, and you can sneak right up to anybody's office, and they have no idea you're coming. Because there's a guy, now they have a receptionist sitting there,
Yes.
and I guess the receptionist, I would do it a little differently, but is that a volunteer or a paid guy?
I believe it's paid, yeah. It's nice. It's a nice touch, I think, a nice welcome wagon there. It's just people where they're going, it's 3 floors, 4 floors with the basement.
Usually
Give people a little direction.
usually ducking down behind the desk,
Yeah.
watching his cell phone.
my experience is.
McD, if you're looking for part-time work, perhaps we can arrange it. You let me know.
No, it's just a matter of, I have people who work with me, and you walk into any one of the funeral homes, and there is somebody at the front door. And they have a badge on that says their name. It's very distinguished looking, he works there, because where's the bathroom? And the city's paying, if the guy's a volunteer, great, thank you for your, say nothing. If the guy's being paid, he should be standing there or sitting there in plain view, not sitting behind the desk. That's just me. So when you go into the front steps someday, take a peek and say, you know what, McDonough's right. You can't really even see the guy. And it doesn't say information.
Well, the idea is, so when you see
That big desk?
when you see somebody coming in, you get on your feet and ask, how can I help you?
Yeah.
There may be times they sit, yeah.
So my mother's cousin used to do that job, Joe Pierce, but I don't know if he still does it. But he was always up and looking and.
Yes, he does, Eileen.
He does?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's a very good ambassador, if you will. Yeah.
You can't say that about him, but,
Yeah.
I mean, I have walked in and just seen people sitting on their phones. But-
My experience is that the person is useful and cheerful. So I'm happy about that.
Excellent.
And
I must go
I,
down at bad times.
what?
I must go down there at bad times.
No, they're probably like, there's
Or
that
you
city
carry
life
an
guy.
aura with you.
Aura.
Yep, which he does.
Aura or no aura, the guy should be a lot more
No comment.
sitting up, staring at the people coming in.
Or-
I'm sure the
aura
manager's not paying the guy to watch
was
his cell
a
phone.
hard word for you?
Aura, like a way about you, right?
Yeah,
Or like how you carry yourself.
yeah.
All right, not for nothing, right? But I'd take John's aura over your aura
Good.
because
I don't know what I'd choose, Eileen.
I'm just saying, it just seems like you're going to ask me a lot of questions when you walk in a door, and John's just going to be like, hey, where do I go for this? So I'd duck.
Well, either way, a good service, a nice touch at City Hall. I'm all for it.
So, and then I emailed Corey about the stump across the street from me and the fact that it's been there for a year.
Yep, that's a monster.
And somebody hit it and totaled my car. They hit it, flipped their car on the roof, and it slid into my car and totaled my car.
Wow.
So
Totaled?
totaled.
Oh, geez.
And so I emailed Corey a couple weeks ago, and they haven't removed the stump, but there's now a orange cone on it.
Cones out there, yeah.
So it shows that someone's paying attention.
Yep.
So there was
so
a
it-
horrible car accident on Fairview on Friday night where a 69-year-old man was killed.
Yeah.
I was reading that, I think, yesterday. What's
It was-
going on?
Yes.
There's a lot going on in Belvedere.
And then I emailed Corey a couple days ago
Oh,
about
poor
a loose tile in the basement.
Yep.
But did I follow up by telling you that I also talked to the maintenance gentleman?
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd taken a picture of it. I haven't done a follow-up, so I don't know if anything has happened. Not a dangerous thing, it's a loose tile.
No, right. Again, it's the city hall, it's all image, right?
Image.
We want to look good.
Yeah. So, you've been a city councilor before this current term, right?
Correct.
And what else do you do? You can't live on, what, $25,000 a year?
No, you can't. But speaking of previous terms,
Yeah.
and you, Cliff Krieger, emailed me on my motion response as of late, right? About the school building,
Yeah.
okay, issues, and Eileen, this is a good topic for you as well. I know you were in communication too, yep. And the financial realities of a major high school project.
Yeah.
And, wow.
These numbers.
Some surprises, right, some real surprises. One of which especially, if we can rewind to 2016, 17, we all remember the high school. It was a location battle, right? How contentious the city was, how divided the city was. I have no interest in
And
going
wrong
back and
the
reliving
city
that
was.
location battle. However,
How
Go ahead.
wrong the city was, because we need 2 high schools,
well,
not just one.
we're lucky to get one, okay?
I remember my son was like 3 or 4, and I just couldn't even think about this. Like, I was like,
Yep.
this will be way done before. In like a year or two, he'd be
Yep.
at the high school.
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
Yep, still going on, Eileen. So again, we know it was, but we didn't hear, we don't need a high school, right? Did anybody recall? Everybody agreed that we all need a new high school on both sides.
Yes.
Nobody squawked about the money and and of course taxes were going to go up, but everybody seemed to be on board, right? Which is the good thing, right?
Right.
But here we are, approximately 3/4, 2/3, 3/4 through the project, if not more. And we're seeing, the financial ramifications on the taxes now. And fortunately, we're not done yet. So remember the issue was the MSBA, it's 80/20. The city's only on the hook for about 20%.
Because of MSBA, right?
Because MSBA, that's correct.
Which is the Massachusetts School Building Association?
Authority.
Oh, sorry.
Authority.
Yep.
They don't like acronyms.
Good acronym, Cliff, right? Yeah. Well, you got that one almost right.
Mass Association of School Building
So
Authority.
we've spent a total of $381 million thus far. The project cost is at $381 million.
And what were they originally looking at the cost?
340,
Okay.
350. Now, we went over with COVID. Remember Senator Kennedy came to the rescue with an additional $38 million with the cost of steel. And Lowell got a bailout there. But at the time, COVID hit. It obviously affected every community. So along with Fall River, Lowell, and a couple other communities, there was it was more or less a class action where the state senators from those respected communities got together, went to the state, look, we need, cost of COVID, things shot up, we all need more money. So that went through, but hey, I applaud Senator Kennedy. I got to give credit where credit's due. So we got an additional $38 million there, bringing it up to 381. Now, 20% of that is about 76 million. Okay, if we were on hook just for 20. We all knew was it going to be exactly 20, but give or take, right?
Yeah.
However, we've paid thus far 111 million, okay, which far exceeds the 76, bringing that percentage up to 30%.
Oh, okay. And
Follow me,
MSBA has
yeah.
only done 70, but now,
Yep.
is this including all the change orders and everything?
Yeah,
that's
we had a
happened?
contingency fund, Eileen, of about 20, that took care of some of these, and, but we all know about the basement issue now, which I'll get to in a minute, right?
Ooh.
Another issue, right? So, let me explain, instead of
Wait,
76.
Let me back before we
Go ahead,
press
Cliff.
on.
Yep,
Like, the asbestos.
yep.
I mean, is there anyone over the age of 18 that doesn't understand there's asbestos in old buildings?
Some
How
thought
did-
there was none, right?
how did we
Remediated
miss
it.
that?
Yeah, and that's a great point. I'm about to get to the reasons why we far exceeded that 20%. Abatement is capped at a certain percentage, and we went over that because there was so much asbestos in the building, in the 22.
What is abatement?
Abatement's when you remediate, get rid of the asbestos, more or less.
All right, okay.
Okay, it's there, you gotta get rid of it.
I just almost feel, I mean, I know I'm Monday morning quarterback in this, but
Go ahead.
shouldn't they have tested for all these things before they started the construction?
Yep, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So that's one issue, Cliff, you bring up. Now, it was hot. They called it, when we toured the high school in mid-February, it was 86% hot, which means in 86% of the place, there was asbestos in the 22.
80%?
86, I believe he said on the tour, yeah. So far exceeded the amount we thought. We can't see through walls. We expected the OPM to bore through these walls and see what the hell was under, but they can't see everything. They can't, it's impossible. So these are costs, once you go over that limit, MSBA says you're on your own, okay? The cost of eminent domain was estimated to be at 2.5 million. Remember it like it was yesterday. Taking that-
Eminent domain is meaning the city owns it or it's its own?
The taking of the dentist's office, Eileen.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, Dr. Ross.
Yep, that whole building, a taking of the dentist. In total, 2.5 went to $10 million.
Good to be a dentist.
Guess so. He's not a dentist anymore. I think he's a retired, wealthy world traveler. I'm not sure.
Probably in
That goes for
Aruba
all of them.
right
I'm not
now.
sure, but, so that far exceeded that amount as well, right? And all the cement and curbing around the city, that's on the city. It's got a large, it's off the street, it's all cement, nice curbing all the way around. The city's on the hook for that. The MSBA is very specific in classrooms. In other words, there's other rooms in there, such as Katie's Closet, which is a nice clothing store for the kids, to have, right, Eileen? All
on
good.
the second
And no one
floor.
has a problem with that. There's a bank in there. There's a store. All that square footage is on us, because it's
Right.
not education related.
Culinary. What about, and the Lowell Community Health Foundation?
Yep,
That's on the basement floor.
right.
But, so culinary would be part of the school that
Yes.
MSBA would be on
Yep.
the hook for, but I don't know,
Yep.
because Lowell Community Health Center is a different entity, so, and that's on the basement floor also.
Well, for now, yeah, I'm not sure the intended use after. I haven't heard anything on that, Eileen. You might be right. But these are all, and moving expenses, another one, you gotta move things out, move things back, store them, all that's on the city. So there was many ancillary costs until look, we're all armchair quarterbacks now. But until you go through all this, you don't know for sure what you're gonna find, especially when we get into a 1922 building and we're finding out that it's much more than we anticipated financially.
So I think it's called the 1826 school store that's been there forever.
right.
Not school-related. The
Yep.
John Dock, the little student
Yep,
banking,
Little student banking, right. Yep, very good, Eileen.
which,
All
I
that.
mean, if financial literacy is now a state mandate, shouldn't that kind of be?
You think you and I see it like that, but not the MSBA, right.
And then, Lowell
So we
Community
we're on
Health
the hook for
Center.
that. So there was many ancillary
Wow.
costs that were on us to bring that percentage, 20%, which looks good. Looks a lot better when you're all campaigning for a high school, your cause, all good, right? Yeah, so we thought 350 million, give or take, was gonna be 75, 80 on the city. We're already up to 111. And again, in the name of transparency, this is why I filed the motion, see where we're at. Taxpayers need to know where we're at, and we're not finished. So There's going to be one more round of funding. We anticipate borrowing another approximately 18 to 20 million.
Wow.
Which will be on the hook about 20% of that, give or take the costs. And we'll see what,
I feel like I'm still popping my eyes back in after looking at these numbers.
I know, Eileen. Yep, it's the grim realities of a project like this, the magnitudes of, second largest in the Commonwealth now, right? So, yeah, that's where we're at. It's just a little disappointing how 20 goes to 30. And remember the swimming pool? These inner city kids, we took up the pool too, remember? Because we knew going into it.
The gym.
Yep, we knew going into it, the MSBA is not cover the cost of the pool. It was a nice, there was an Olympic-sized pool in there. I mean, it was beautiful. So we took that right out, knowing that was on us, but we still ran into a lot of things that.
How much was that?
That's a good question, Eileen. I don't recall that. How much extra that would have been, yeah.
Wow. So by the.
But we ixnayed from the project knowing that the city was entirely on the hook. I didn't agree with it. I don't agree with it. But nonetheless, we tried to, ease the burden on the taxpayers as best we can. That's what we're trying to do, Cliff.
I like that ixnayed.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that in a while.
Well, there you go. Strutting down memory lane, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
But yes, so that's not good news, but, as I say with this project to the manager and to Skanska and bad news needs to travel faster than good news when it comes to this building and this project. We need to know right away. And then, speaking of which, in the basement, there's a 4-inch gap between the original basement floor and the soil. We saw that during the tour. And he's like hinting, you might need a new floor down here. And we're like, oh, no. We knew it. It was coming. So.
These were all projections that were just brought up when? Like, when did you do that tour?
We toured mid-February. And that's when, hot in the basement. And they cut out a big square, which they probably should have done way back when. So we put it on we tried putting it on the OPM and the contractor. However, Mass General laws pretty much indemnify them unless it's absolutely egregious. So we were going to be probably going to have to go back to the delegation to get more money from the MSBA. And this situation is a little unique. I'm sorry, Eileen, because it's not like the previous bailout we had with Senator Kennedy and the delegation, where it was a number of cities and towns. It was all, again, it was class action, COVID related. So that was sort of an easy one, I guess. Well, it's easy for me to say, but this is an independent. We messed up. We didn't see this. So this might be a little more challenging getting this money.
And somehow we've managed to do this, and still nobody has found money to put a walking bridge between the high school and the parking garage.
I think that's the last thing they're thinking about.
Yep.
When I was a kid, in a town of 2,800,
What town?
we had the town of Winona, named after Princess Winona.
California?
You didn't know that, Eileen?
South Jersey.
He
Gloucester-
lived all
Gloucester
over the
County.
country, all
Gloucester
over the
County.
world.
Okay,
Winona.
What
We
about?
had a walking bridge that went across 2 railroad tracks, the double railroad tracks.
Yep.
So the kids going to school, beginners through 8th, they were still mad at the Germans at the end of World War II, so it wasn't kindergarten, it was beginners. So there was a footbridge, nothing fancy, wooden planks, but still keeping the kids away from the traffic, the rail
You
traffic
said
in that case.
train tracks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a whole different story than a
No,
street.
it's not a whole different
Yeah.
story.
It's pretty different, pretty significant.
I have to leave in like 10 minutes, so can I get my part in?
Oh, by all means, Eileen.
So, looking at these numbers, right?
Yep.
This is what scares me in the vote that you guys took the other night about the MGL, Chapter 72, Section 37M, which I know the main purpose is for facilities, to do the joint facilities.
Yep.
But that consolidation kind of puts that, the wording gives a lot of leeway in that type of consolidation. It's not just facilities. It could be administrative and salaries and human resources and finances. And so that kind of worries me, especially just looking at these numbers where they are now.
Yep.
And my other kind of question is, Lowell does a good job of really going above and beyond and paying, but are we really putting the onus on all of costs that maybe shouldn't be on Lowell? Like, is somebody really looking that through and saying, hey, you need to pay this or you need to pay that?
Okay, yep. Some great points. Now, we've also invested, this report tells that since the first project was 2012, the description of borrowing is MSBA Accelerated Repair Program. So we've been getting grants, not so much grants, because we're on the hook for 20% of that too, from the MSBA, 2019, 2020, 2022. So Manager Donahue was very effective with the MSBA, getting us money for certain schools, roof, boilers, Eileen, and whatnot. So we're on the hook for 20% of that too. But hey, that's still a good deal. There's really no, that's pretty much black and white. When you get into it, there's no, okay? So to your point, yes, you like to see, from a school committee point of view, you want to see money going in the classrooms, Eileen, I get that. But no, the goal of the new ordinance for the joint school facilities is for maintenance on the buildings. That's the goal. Okay?
Right, which I get, which makes
realizing
sense.
we haven't been good at it, we've stunk at it,
Yeah.
and we need to get better. Okay, so we can get caught up. We're gonna have a new high school in time. A lot of work's been done to our schools.
In time? Did you just say in time?
In time, yep.
In
We
time.
go, in
Not
other words,
on time, but in time.
in time. The
In
28 other schools got issues too, so we need to address those
Right.
too, in a timely fashion the best we can. Then hopefully we get to a point down the road, we're just doing maintenance, when there's nothing really big on the horizon, but we gotta get better at maintenance. That's why these schools are in, these HVAC units, roofings in such bad condition, because we've stunk, and something has to change.
But Corey, the city council's passed it, but doesn't the school committee also have to pass
Yes,
it?
right, so Eileen will have her say on the school committee floor.
You're not getting my money.
Yeah, and, it's between the manager and the superintendent to work out an MOU on this. We need their, you need their nod too.
It wasn't even brought up at our school committee meeting the other
Yeah,
night.
no, it's probably a little
but-
bit early, Eileen, it will, I'm sure it'll come up.
But are we
we
going
have
for the
something to read.
full
So,
maintenance, finance, and personnel, or just the maintenance?
just the maintenance.
Okay.
That's where it
Yeah.
really centered on.
Yep.
And it's 2019, when you really see these prices going up?
Yep.
Is that when you really like the construction people really started seeing the issues that they
No,
were digging into?
there wasn't many surprises, Eileen, because that was new construction then. Okay, the field house, so everything was pretty much on par.
In 2019?
Yep, except with the COVID, again, the cost of steel went up, and we had a big overage there. So other than that huge one, everything was pretty much cut and dry. The 1980 building was a rehab, right? But when we got now that we're in the 22, this is where,
All the issues are coming up.
correct, as you'd have to expect, unfortunately, so.
But that's my issue with the city. You know what I mean? They're reactive instead of proactive. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep.
Like, and I love Cliff's idea, like if we would have had two high schools, a north and a south campus, or what was that, a east and a west one? What was your thought, Cliff, on the high schools?
Wang School and the new building down at College Stadium.
The Wang School?
In
Turn it
Bethesda.
into a high school.
Oh, it wouldn't be big enough, though. Oh, well, I see, because it's
Yeah.
still a newer building than the 1922 building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I hear some good ideas, a lot of what-ifs.
yeah.
However, I got a problem, this is the problem on my desk right now, that
Yeah.
me and you, Eileen, the school committee, have in front of us.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta deal with it the best we can, right?
We have to dig
It
our
is
way
what it
out
is.
of this.
That's correct, literally, right?
And then
So-
you guys have a budget and you're cutting $4 million from the school?
Yeah.
How did that work out?
Well, on their side, not so good, right? No, it's not. Look, it's tough times. We're trying to focus on maintenance. And I think a lot of these, Eileen, were COVID positions that,
So, yes,
that
I
we knew
know.
were gonna come to an end, and now that nobody wants to lose them on your end. I totally understand that. So, well, I'm going to let the manager manage, do his job, work with the superintendent, do the best we can, report back to the council, we'll chime in from there. That's what we pay him for,
Right.
so. and he-
53 positions cut?
Yeah, I mean, it's happening everywhere. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to
Yes,
ask too.
that's a good
In
point, Eileen.
Methuen, there's 76 positions being cut, where I
Wow.
work. And
Oh, wow.
so, but has the federal, have you guys seen a drawback from the federal funding in any way, any shape or form with the Trump administration?
No, not on a local level.
Right.
We're
Yeah.
seeing it on the folk festival side. We just had an advisory board meeting.
Food.
But these are a lot of, these are anticipated cuts, like the folk festival. We just expect it's going to happen, but we're seeing it there, but no. Eileen, I see grant money that we're expecting a full complement, if you will.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
But on food, the Hunger Homeless Commission was briefed on Wednesday that the federal government is cutting back money. It finally dawned on people that COVID ended 2 years ago.
Yes, there's a lot of COVID programs still out there, right?
So money is being cut back on food programs. I mean, 1 in 6 people in Lowell is touched by a food program. That's a lot of people.
Yep,
That,
big percentage, Phil.
more than 10%.
Yeah.
So that,
Yeah, I've heard a lot of, I mean, besides the food, like the boarding house park area in it itself is pulling back a lot on different festivals that have happened there in the past that they're pulling funding on and so forth. So it's quite interesting.
But the
'cause-
summer music series, in other words, yeah, that's been a challenging year too, very much.
so it seems to me, and all I have is Melanie Gilbert's article, but it seems to me that
Can I see that clip again?
we're not meeting
Yeah.
the expected commitment of the city with regard to the school budget. That 14 million or so would have been the expected commitment based on state guidance, and we're cutting back to 10.
No good news Friday. Lowell budget. Tax increase of 2.5%, $4 million.
That's
cuts
called
to
holding the
school.
line, right? 2.5, that's a very modest. That just meets expected increases, if you will. The cost of salaries, health insurance, utilities, what have you. So these meet, that 2.5% meets fixed costs. And considering the high school project too, that's a pretty modest in tax increase. That's about the best we can do.
So
So we're trying to hold the line the best we can, Cliff. Obviously, more is needed.
I guess I'm
know?
just spewing these thoughts from my head, but like we're cutting from the schools, which is so vulnerable, right? It's it's a needy area. Are any jobs in city administration being cut?
I don't believe so.
And I think we need to look more,
Yeah.
like, teachers, staff who are forward-facing with the students on the right, you know, on what I'm losing my words now. On the front, on the forward-facing with the students, like, we need more staff like that. The boots on the ground, that's what I was looking for, boots on the ground.
Gotcha.
With
People
the
at the
students.
coal face.
No, not that. What'd you say that again?
People at the coal face.
People with the
The
coal
one
face.
doing the work.
Yeah, and I just think we can't afford to lose those positions, but
Yeah.
you ask me what the, you know, the highest paying person or maybe the second, third, fourth highest paying person at City Hall does, I don't know, right?
Frank King.
I don't know.
Yep. No, it's tough times, Eileen, but as your example, Methuen, a smaller school system, right? That's some serious,
76.
that's some serious cuts, yeah.
Yeah. All ELL programs, all health and wellness at the elementary level are being cut.
Wow, yeah.
We got some input from the audience. The reality is that once again, another project that government is involved with requires more money. I hope the citizens of Lowell hold the city officials and the manager accountable for the tax increase. That
On the hook.
That the residents.
I will say that private projects go over budget too. Okay, I'm involved in many developers in the city, that I assure you, those projects go over budget too.
Next one
and-
says, so why purchase a school, the Gene Dock, when all the other schools need to be fixed? That 2.5 million could have gone a long way taking care of other issues. Moving right along.
That's a good point.
And this was the,
If times are tough, why extend his contract, manager? Why didn't the manager take a pay cut? That's the last in the
so
text.
what the highlight was in the meeting on Tuesday night was, we just need more space. We need more buildings.
Right.
And so we needed John Dock, even though
Yes.
it's a ton of construction.
Yep.
That still needs to happen there. At least
Right.
we're using the convent for some space for the 80s school.
Yeah.
And
the intent for the purchase of Jean D'Arc School the intent was for disability kids? Eileen?
Autism, the autism
okay.
program.
Right, which
CSA.
we're paying a tidy sum of money to transport out of the district,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So, to the caller, if you will, that's gonna be actually result in a cost savings. When this school is up and running, and those students with autism are here, we don't have to transport them out of the district. And there's a potential, we may even be able to accept out of the district kids for a cost and actually turn a better profit. We'll see. Our kids come first. We'll see where we go. But there was a need for Jean D'Arc. We did it for a reason. There was a need for it, and it's going to end up being a cost savings.
To
But-
Corey's point, you can get it on schedule, you can get it to specification,
Yep.
or you can get it to cost. Pick two. You can't have all three.
But, and Jay, respectfully, Ms. Delrossi, the schools are not going without. They get whatever they want from the city. And I don't know what they mean in terms of that, and I think this administration has done a much better job in taking care of the buildings than previously.
Yeah,
But
last 5 years or so. Yeah.
when you say schools aren't going without, do you have a child that goes to Lowell Public Schools? Do you have a student that's experienced what happens when you don't have enough staff, when you need accommodations, or there's mayhem going on in the classroom and the hallways, and there's just not enough staff to help these kids effectively process what's going on? And a lot of the positions that are being cut are the positive behavior reinforcements, and as of now, we don't have enough. And
And you mentioned ELL teachers too, Eileen?
in Methuen, I know.
Oh, Methuen, okay.
They're cutting that in health and wellness at the elementary school level.
It's not that I don't like you, Eileen.
I do. I have to go to my real job. I could talk about this stuff all day.
Oh, I thought this was your real job, Eileen.
No,
All right.
I'll do
Okay.
autographs later.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a sad situation all around. It really is.
It is.
But at a 2.5 increase, that's about the best we can do, really. I'm not advocating for any tax increase. I wish it was zero. But just as expenses are going up in the household across, it's the same for the city. Costs, health insurance costs are soaring. Salaries, you have to meet the city, we're trying to get on par with other communities, Cliff, to retain good employees. So we had to go up in salaries. And it all costs money, so we're doing the best we can.
And we need to be making more investments in our city employees, and as Eric Gitcher sometimes points out, in terms of upgrading skills.
Yep.
So that they can easily transition as new kinds of equipment come down the road. And they can easily be promoted into management positions.
Sure. I couldn't agree with them more. We'd like to promote from within. You know, retain these employees for long periods of time rather than lose them to other communities.
Corey, somebody from your district called and wants to know, the pavilion on Shed Park,
Yep,
is there a hole in the pavilion?
there is in the roof.
And
Yep.
will that be fixed?
Yep, I have, quote, nudged the administration, and I anticipate capital funds being put into that Shed Park Pavilion, which is very utilized, several permits, I'm told well over 75 permits per year are pulled for usage of that pavilion. I've been, you know, I grew up on East Merrimack, so I've been going there since I was a kid too. The Little League events in there. But it's in need of some work. That's when you drive by in the street, it looks pretty good. But if you get into the weeds and underneath and look at the
So
ceiling,
by
yes.
when would you, just being a little pushy here, when do you think it'll get fixed? Before summer?
No. No,
So
it will
we're
not.
stuck with this
If
like
we approve, if it's
next year?
next year, into this fall, winter, spring of next year.
Understood.
Yep. So it's coming. I've seen,
It's
believe
coming
me,
at
I've
the
walked
speed
it.
of government.
Fighting, yeah, government's got two stops, McD, slow and stop, I know.
And we'll go home at noontime today. We'll see you
Oh.
Monday after 10.
Don't forget they work 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights.
I understand. Did you ever pay a tax bill on Tuesday night? Ever
No,
pay
it's
your
taken
water
right out
bill?
of my mortgage.
Ever get a death certificate on Tuesday night? It's crickets. They should work Saturday morning. Just put it out there.
Seems,
Oh, I'm gonna get spitballs when I go down there for
Yes,
death
you are.
certificates later
Yeah.
on today.
yep. But yes, the Shed Park Pavilion, I hear you loud and clear. I anticipate money to be coming for a nice investment there.
That'll be good.
Yep.
So, I was going down Porter Street because somebody was parking a school bus on Sherman Street at High Street, and I couldn't see.
Okay.
So I went down Porter, and I hit a bad pothole, had to replace my front right tire,
Wow.
and also, that was on.
How long ago was this,
Wednesday,
Cliff?
The 30th of April,
Okay.
and I was going to go pay my tax bill on Thursday, the 1st of May, and because I was tied up getting my tire fixed, I missed that. I didn't get there until Friday. That cost me 86 cents because I was late. 85 cents.
85 cents, yeah.
Yeah.
Interest accrues per day, yes.
Yeah, so I'd like to get that back. What's the story on, I understand I can apply for the cost of fixing my car? I can
Yes.
apply, but it goes to the city council. How's the city council
You would
viewing
file a
these things
petition.
these
You can go online or to
Yeah.
the clerk's office and fill out the proper forms for a petition to get reimbursed for your tire repair. Yes, you could. We just move to approve, refer to the law department, they sort it out with you. We have little to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're approving these things if someone,
Oh, no, well, we just send it along to the law department then for
Okay.
them to battle it out with the applicant.
of course, if I do that, that just makes my taxes go up.
No, we make your taxes go up, Cliff, not them, okay?
I see that. Okay.
But I hope you can understand we're doing the best we can. We really are. We're trying to hold the line. We understand, you know, what's been happening the last number of years, I'll go back as 10 years, where, you know, taxes go up, but assessed values are going up too. We all know properties, so, okay? So it's a double-edged sword, right? And so Many of my constituents have let me know, and so 2.5% is proposed. It's a very modest increase. And,
Yeah.
It's the highest you can do legally.
No,
Oh, you could go higher?
we can, because Lowell that's only for communities, in all the suburbs, I remind you, are to the tax levy. In other words, the maximum amount you can charge. And also in this report, indicates Lowell is $14 million per year under the tax levy.
Yes.
You know what that would do for us? A lot of things. Do we want to go there? Certainly not. But where Chelmsford, Billerica go up 2.5, because that's the maximum they can go up, they're already at the tax levy. Lowell is not. That's why McD a few years ago was 5, 5.5, 3.5. So, no, you're talking about Proposition 2.5, where many communities, in particular the outlying communities, are at that maximum. We are not. So, believe me, as bad as it is in Lowell, it's much worse in the
Before I
outlying
get into
communities.
these taxes, a question comes all the time, and I'm going to ask
Yeah.
because it didn't come up this morning.
Yep.
Smith Baker Center. What's your personal city councilor opinion on the Smith Baker Center?
Needs to come down.
Thank you. Moving on to the text.
Needs to be torn down. Anything else you want to know?
We eventually won't need all the added space. That's from DW. Cliff, you have a lot of issues with the city.
It was a horrific year with potholes. Horrific.
Why does the council continue to give raises knowing taxes are going up? And it's an election year, because I won't forget what the
It's
council
a thing
authorized.
called collective bargaining, where unions negotiate with the manager. They are entitled to cost of living raises each year, and we have to honor that. We value our employees, whether they're low-level parks workers, whatever it may be, the city hall administrative. We value them all, and we do need to meet collective bargaining.
For decades and decades, that has what schools have always complained about. We need more money and more teachers. That's from Jay. That's the last.
Yep, I know,
group of
school
texts.
department, just as much we love them, nothing
over to you
seems to be
guys.
enough. I understand that, and that's what they're fighting for. But the city owns the buildings, we're on the hook for maintenance. School department wants teachers. With the needs of the school facilities, we can't do both. So we are putting a large focus on maintenance facilities, or maintenance on these facilities, repairs. And by the way, there's a thing called net school spending, where the state mandates you need to spend this amount, this percentage into the school. It's largely state subsidized, as we all know, being a city, we're large. But the state still says you need to spend this amount. And by the way, in fiscal year '25, we exceeded that by 4.7 million, on top of what's required. We anticipate FY '26, we're going to exceed it by 5.7 million, an additional million, on top of what we're supposed to do. So
Wait, you're cutting it for $1 million.
we take, I know, and it's.
So how can the percent go up?
Percent's going up. Cliff, I understand that. But again, we have a lot of old positions on board from COVID that nobody wants to let go of, and we don't want to be laying off anybody. But these are old positions that we knew the day was going to come, that they were temporary positions, and here we are. There's no joy in it, there's no pleasure by any means, but this is where we're at.
So, you said prices going up. So I have a niece out in Issaquah, Washington State, and she sent me in something.
Well, that's a little out of my jurisdiction, Cliff, but go ahead.
But she said that, she wrote to me and she said, talk to Corey Belanger about the average listed price in the Belvedere being $930,000.
Wow, I did not even know that. Wow. Yep, and there are taxes in the,
So my taxes are going up.
yeah,
I bought in at, I think, 178,000. And the value of the house keeps going up. My
yep.
taxes keep
That's what I'm
going
saying,
up.
assessed values and taxes collectively It's,
So-
but thank you, Senator, who provided that information? I did not know that. So that's in Belvedere, over 900,000, your average.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, great
Wow.
show today. I applaud Corey for coming in and taking and answering your questions. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. That's from Jay. Another
Why,
comment
thank
from
you.
Jay, our favorite
I
commenter.
appreciate that.
Good luck, Big Red Dog, that's you, on getting your money from the city for your tire. Somehow they'll blame you.
Yes, you should have saw that pothole, Cliff.
It was dark.
Right, or filled with water. You get those too, right? It was a hellacious year for potholes, people, believe me. Kept me very busy. All the councilors.
Homelessness.
Yes.
We're closing the Inn and Conference Center to
Migrants.
migrants and migrants. When I think of migrants, I think of Okies and Arkies, which just shows how old I am.
I don't even know what that is, but go ahead.
People from Oklahoma and Arkansas moving to California during the
Okay.
Great Depression. Those are migrants to me.
Boy, how things have changed. These
Yes.
people ain't from Oklahoma.
So, does anybody know where they're going?
I assume they were housed. I don't know.
I'm kind of worried about
So
that.
we're getting-
At two
well-
levels.
We were notified by the administration, the Healy administration, that the migrants will be out of the ICC by June 30th.
Yep.
Now, again, the university owns it. So we're gonna be, as I spoke to on Tuesday night, we do have a need for a hotel, okay? We do have a thing called tourism, well, what's left of it anyway. So if you would talk to folks from Law Auditorium, Convention and Visitors Bureau, just to name a few, it is sadly missed. Granted, it was only 2-3 stories, right? It was an active dorm.
Yeah.
And the first 3 floors were hotel space. So, the city needs to,
Now, more than ever, the city needs knowledgeable, dedicated, and experienced city councilors at the helm. I highly support Councilor Belanger. Thank you. That's from Jeannie Balkus.
well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And experience is going to be crucial going forward. Look, and we'll get back to that issue, Cliff, what we're talking to. The city's got we got a lot going on. Now, obviously, I'm a district councilor, okay? So I got to focus on district issues, right? Making staying in contact with my constituents, and reacting to their needs. However, I do have the whole city to worry about too, in some ways. And what I'm trying to do, we talk about taxes. So what I'm trying to do is be a loud voice on the council floor, promoting economic development, in particular, the urban renewal areas, okay? Right here, not far from where we are now, the train station, the Hamilton Canal, the MBTA communities, which extends all the way down to Dutton and Merrimack Street, and focus on new development. So the only way we can offer relief, when I go door to door and hear about the taxes, what I'm working diligently on, and pressing the administration, the Golden administration, to get shovels in the ground, which we are accomplishing there. Since I've been on board, the Hamilton Canal, we got Cabot and Cabot going in the former Lapoli site. Wind Development's working on a lot, a 6-7 story, and Draper, a partner of UMass Lowell, is working on one of the pegged for commercial, just to name a few. So what we're trying to accomplish here is to create new growth to help the homeowner, put the lesser of the burden on them. That doesn't mean, look, my district is by and large single-family zoning, and we're going to protect that at all, which seems to be under fire these days with these ridiculous, the ADUs, this new bill proposed, yes, God's in my backyard, where churches, religious organizations would be free to do anything they want, build multifamily homes with literally no guidelines. These are not things that I support. However, we need to focus on our urban renewal areas, Cliff. Get shovels in the damn ground there and get this tax base up. That's the best we can do to help the homeowner out. So that's what I'm working diligently on a citywide level, that is.
Back to the homeless.
Yes.
We're plowing under the camps in various locations here in the
Yes,
city.
we are. We're not letting
Where are
up.
those people going?
They are offered housing. I don't know the exact details, but when we get word of an encampment, and it's a very transient population, if you will, they are notified, it's a visit. We offer resources, first and foremost. I want everybody to know it's done in a dignified, humane manner. Let them know you can't stay here. You don't have to leave today, but in approximately 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever it may be, you need housing, you need services, clinicians. Everything is offered to them. Okay? No one takes anybody up on anything. Very odd. These are what the boots on the ground tell me. These are who I listen to. We're offering these services. Nobody seems to want them. Okay? But too bad. I'm sorry. We've been dealing with this issue for a long time now. We're going to offer services, offer housing. You don't want it, then maybe we're not the city for you. Maybe you should move on to another community, with all due respect.
That's by saying, if you don't like it here, move.
That's exactly, that's where we're at. Okay, so we've seen too many businesses, neighborhoods be adversely affected, because these individuals, by and large, aren't from Lowell. A very, very high percentage aren't from Lowell. They're coming in here for the resources and what we have. But which, look, we're a city, we need to do things. I assume housing, homeless funding will be level funded, at the very least. I don't want to plan on cutting anything there. I don't think we're going to. But, we're assisting. We know now the outlying communities don't want anything to do with this, right? We reached out. We were proactive, reaching out. Can you help us with this issue? Not even crickets, okay? So we know outlying communities want nothing to do with the homeless, okay? They may do an occasional food bank, make themselves feel good. But we're not homeless shelters, clinicians, forget it, okay? So the onus seems to be on us, meaning the cities. And basically, we're getting a lot of people's problems. But we're going to do everything we can to help this population. We're going to keep them moving. It is not okay to camp out in our downtown and stowaways, near schools. We don't like that, especially near schools. We're very sensitive.
Comment from the audience. What will it take to close St. Paul's Kitchen and the Elliott Church? They are the magnet for all those losers hanging around the South Common.
Well, thank you for the comment.
Any comment?
Not much we can do. They are largely state-funded, donor-funded.
Any comment on the ICE raids in Lowell?
I don't. Look, we don't. ICE doesn't let the council know what they're doing. It's a federal action. We have no control.
All I can tell you is call Lori Trahan. If one of your
Yeah.
relatives or somebody you love has been arrested, taken away, call Lori Trahan and get her on it. She's the only one that can help you.
Yep. Look at the Lowell policy for public safety is we don't Lowell police does not engage in immigration sweeps, if you will, based on immigration status.
When the state police come to Lowell to do a drug raid,
Yep,
the Lowell police don't participate unless they're asked.
unless they're asked.
And
Right,
I'm
yeah.
sure if
Or
the
notified.
people from ICE requested Lowell police's help,
Yeah.
they'd get it. They don't ask.
Well, and
It's a turf war between all these law enforcement departments. They don't want help. They want to use their own people.
Well, in some cases, yes, depending, it varies community to community, McD. But listen, if you're here undocumented, you're dealing drugs or child trafficking, whatever it may be, I want you out. Okay, so in that case, we do cooperate if there's a detainer for a violent crime, drug trafficking. To my knowledge, we cooperate with ICE. But not in particular with them. When the law's broken, we cooperate.
Quick
Okay?
question.
But other than that, we do not get into immigration status. Go ahead, Cliff.
Is there any chance of getting the state legislature to take us back a couple of decades so that we can take action to help people who are mentally ill?
Totally hear
who
you. Yep.
are addicted and can't control it? I mean, I assume that the drug trade isn't supported only by junkies on the street. I suspect there's a lot of people
So-
who can control it.
I think what you're alluding to is involuntary treatment.
Yes.
Yes, I'm on board with that. I really am. For both those deep in the stages of addiction and those afflicted heavily with mental illness that are on the street today, cannot function. That's what we used to do.
Monday's show, we got, Cliff's gonna
you
be
know.
the host. Attorney Sandra Benessis is gonna be here. We're gonna talk about legal stuff, put your house in a trust, stuff like that. Eileen Delrossi is expected, Fruit Nookenbeck's expected, and Mike Smith's expected.
And Belinda,
Oh, Belinda Duran's coming. I'll
Yes.
put her down. Thank
And
you.
that's Monday?
Monday.
Monday.
Wow, you got to,
Trying to pack you guys
Busy,
in so we can invite you back.
So
we
Corey,
gotta-
thank you for taking the tough questions.
my pleasure.
Thank you.
You know, we're addressing all these issues,
Elevator
folks.
speech, we got 1 minute.
Oh, well, thank you, yes. And thank you to all the viewers today for chiming in. It's always a pleasure to come on here at City Life and engage, it really is. I enjoy coming on. But we need experience as one of the Texas Tech
Jeannie
in.
Balkus, yep.
Yep, Gene, thank you so much. You know, we do need experience going forward. I have it. I feel I am the best candidate of all the challenges out there for the time we're in, what's going forward. We have a lot of large-scale projects going on, as well as neighborhood issues that I am working with the administration on. We've got a great handle on all the issues citywide, and, you know, we can't afford any interruptions. And I stand for the entire city council. I think we should all get reelected. That means that's all 11 of us, I think, are working hard, working in harmony, and moving the city forward. So I ask for your vote and your support on this platform, especially in the primary on September 9th. It'll start there.
Yeah, and if you want to earn a little money, contact the election office. They're looking for people to work the polls.
Sure, yep.
Corey, thanks for taking the tough questions.
My
You're the best.
pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Anytime.
Thanks, Corey. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Cliff.
it.
Yep.
Have a
Always
good weekend.
pleasure. Yep.
Stay dry if you can. Thanks for watching.